How something as simple as an ID can complicate life. Isn't it amazing? We live in a world where we can buy just about anything with the tap of our phone. Groceries, furniture, even a car, all ordered online, paid for with a credit card and an app, and shipped right to your door. Everything's digital and immediate, until you need an ID. Then suddenly, we're back in the old dark ages. For millions of Americans, especially in Black, Latino, Indigenous, and low-income communities, getting a government-issued ID is like playing the least fun board game. And that goalpost moves back a few more spaces. The process is anything but simple, and the consequences, massive. First, there's the cost. For most people, getting an ID means a fee somewhere between $10 and $50. But when you're living paycheck to paycheck, that's no small expense. And it doesn't stop there. Most people need other documents, like a birth certificate, to even apply, which is an additional $15 to $30. And that's if you even have access to these papers. Plenty of people don't, especially those who've been displaced, lost their records, or never had these documents in the first place. All of this adds up to a serious financial hurdle. So this got me thinking, what if we just made IDs free? Imagine if instead of facing costs at every turn, people can just get an ID without these financial obstacles. But I know what some people might worry about. If IDs were free, would that mean everyone could get one? Not at all. Proof of citizenship would still be required, just without the fees. So while I'm talking about making IDs accessible, I'm not suggesting we toss out the rule book here. Free IDs only go to those who can prove citizenship, like a birth certificate or a naturalization certificate. This is about expanding access within the existing eligibility framework, not altering it. Now, here's where it gets serious. For all of the technology we use in daily life, the reality is that millions of Americans still can't access voting, jobs, healthcare, and social services simply because they don't have an ID. In a world where you can do everything online, the whole process of getting a basic ID is like something out of a bygone era. And when states require IDs to vote, the stakes become even higher because no ID often means no voice in democracy. For all of you skeptics out there, the Brennan Center for Justice reports that people without IDs are disproportionately Black, Latino, and low income. And if that's not frustrating enough, studies from places like Texas and Missouri show that strict voter ID laws hit minority voters hardest. So what if we made IDs and birth certificates free? Sure, there's an up cost, but here's the kicker. Providing free IDs could save money long term. Now, why would free IDs actually save money? Number one, less bureaucracy and lower administrative costs. Right now, local governments spend tons on processing ID applications, handling appeals, and verifying voters at the polls. If everybody had a free standardized ID, we'd eliminate a huge chunk of that red tape. Number two, reduce the need for public assistance. Free IDs means people can access social services without endless verification battles, meaning that social service offices can spend less time on paperwork and more time on actually helping people. Number three, more employment, more tax revenue. Many jobs require ID to prove work eligibility. When we make IDs free, more people can access employment. And when more people work, tax revenue goes up, benefiting everyone. 4, lower healthcare costs. Here's the thing. People without ID struggle to get healthcare, which means they end up at the ER for things that could have been treated earlier and cheaper. Free IDs would mean better access to routine care, healthier communities, and a lower public health care costs. Number 5, stronger local economies. Communities where people can access jobs, housing, and healthcare are more stable and economically active. Making IDs accessible could boost costs in local economies, benefiting small businesses and creating a ripple effect that strengthens the entire community. Number 6, less legal trouble and fewer jail costs. Not having an ID can even get people tangled up in the legal system. Providing everyone with free IDs, we could reduce petty fines and arrests, simply saving money in courts and jails. Look, here's my final thoughts. Voting shouldn't be reserved for people who have the time, money, and the right paperwork. If we made IDs and birth certificates free and linked them to automatic voter registration, every U.S. citizen could participate in elections without jumping through endless hoops. So why not bring our ID system out of the past? Free IDs and birth certificates wouldn't just make life easier. They'd make life fairer. Now, I know this idea may not be perfect, and I'm sure it could use fine-tuning. I'm completely open to ideas, improvements, and even alternative solutions that would make it as valuable as possible. By no means, this isn't a closed conversation, and it doesn't need to be. But look, we all know there are some folks that are just waiting to find one small thing to disagree with. It's like they're on a mission to pick one detail out of a full argument and toss the whole thing aside like that proverbial baby with the bathwater. I get it, everybody's entitled to their opinion. But if you're only here to miss the big picture and troll, I appreciate you for giving me something to laugh about. Know that I'm all ears for constructive conversation, because in the end, the goal here is simple. Let's make participation in society accessible to everyone without the financial barriers and the endless DMV lines. In the world of apps, credit cards, and online everything, it's about time we make getting an ID something as simple as add to cart.